All right, the Virgil Ortiz, Jaron Boots Ennis situation, to me, is pretty clear. Virgil Ortiz ducking Jaron Boots Ennis. That ain't no secret. He did it before. He's doing it again right now. You know, that's no secret at all. And for the most part, in this case, even though I talked about 154 being a repeat of 147, to be honest, in this case, it's not Jaron's fault. Jaron got to work too hard. You know, Jaron is just the moving component to this. You know, he's just the boxer. You know, I blame his team. The reason why Virgil Ortiz can play this game like this is because they understand the climate of boxing, who will be held to a certain pinnacle and who won't. And they also understand how to manipulate the media. Jaron and his team outside the ring is not good. You know, whether it's business wise or whether it's media wise. And I'll say this, once again, you can't tell me that they didn't have this type of conversation beforehand. If you knew that you was going to 154, and if you knew that you was going for Ortiz, and you knew the reputation of Ortiz and his team and what they've been doing, why didn't you make a contingency plan going to 154 just in case Ortiz is going to act like what he's already been acting like thus far? You get what I'm saying? So why not have a contingency plan just in case when you move up and Virgil Ortiz do the same thing? There's no way that you haven't contemplated that. And once again, I'm not putting it on Jaron. This is his team. They're the ones who come to him and tell them what they can deliver and make the promises. I can get you this fight. I can get this. I can get this. I can get that. That's up to his team to do. You know, little less Jaron. So he really suffers from having a jacked up team. You know, and how media works, of course they'll spin it like Jaron's ducking, but I've already broke down how you need to understand media, how it works, and how these athletes need to operate within those parameters that's going to maximize and benefit them. But they act like they can't learn this. I don't get it. There's no adjustments made. You know, you see the climate, you see how you're treated, so adjust to that and operate within that parameter. But once again, you can't tell me that this wasn't on your mind. Just like you can't tell me if you were making a decision to stay at 147, you can't tell me that you didn't contemplate, well, what if we can't get the Brian Norman fight? Well, what if we can't get the Mario Barrios fight? You can't tell me that you ain't thought about them things. And if you didn't think about those things, you have one of the worst teams in boxing. Hands down. Hands down, because you know what? People don't want to hear the same excuses at 154, at 147, even if it is legit. That's why I say, to the less degree, it's not Jaron's problem. It's his team supposed to be taking care of this. Media and negotiation-wise, they fail him repeatedly. But when it comes to Ortiz, just like I said, pay attention to the media. There's no pressure on these Mexicans. There's no pressure for Ortiz to be anything. There's no pressure for Mario Barrios to be anything. There's no pressure for Ryan Garcia to be anything. There's no pressure for Pitbull Cruz to be anything more than what they are. Token Mexicans to satisfy Mexican ego. That's it. But actually being legit, you know, they not in that game. They rather pretend like they the man rather than be the man. Okay, they done been showed you that. They been showed you what they done opted out for. This is what they opted out for. So in that case, your team needs to move strategically along these guidelines. Understanding the media, understanding how these guys is ducking. And if somebody is ducking you on the media side, it's their job to set it up so the world knows that you did your part. Because these guys can play the media game. They play the media game against Jaron, and he lose every single time. But this is my thing. Don't just play the media game when it comes to Crawford. Play the same game with everybody else. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, these black athletes' energy, I'll keep saying it, it's weird. It's just weird. Now, you knew how to play the media game when it came to Crawford. Do it with everybody else. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's all that I'm saying. I understood that you guys understood to talk about Terrence Crawford was going to help promote you and get you the attention and stuff like that. Now, if you understand the media in the net aspects, you need to understand it in all aspects in which it can work with you and against you. But they only got intelligence maybe when it comes to using Terrence Crawford name. I don't know. But another thing is these boxers and the lack of speaking, you know what I'm saying, and speaking up for themselves. That's a big issue. If somebody's out here ducking you, let the world know, because you know what? If they can find a way to make you seem like a duck, they run into the media with it and making it seem like you insufficient and you the one. So they even beat him on that end. He just needs to tighten up. And all that story about, Robert Garcia, we need to wait 5 years. I heard he not ready. And Jaron Ennis want 2 tune-up fights. Guess what? I'm not mad if Jaron want 2 tune-up fights at 154, but that's my limit. I don't mind that. I don't mind a fight to get acclimated to that weight class. I don't mind that. Hell, I won't even mind 2 fights. But beyond 2 fights, I have no patience. But if Jaron want a tune-up fight or whatever and whatnot at 154, I am not against that. Anything that puts him in a position to get him these big fights. I just want to see him in a high-profile fight. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. But is Ortiz ducking? Yes. But is the boxing world going to lean on Ortiz like they would, Shakur or Gervonta Davis if they thought they were ducking? Of course not. But these boxers don't operate within that perimeter acting like they know that. They act like they get treated like everybody else while knowing they don't get treated like everybody else. While everybody else that watch boxing understands that they don't get treated like everybody else. But since it goes along with the program of making seem everybody better than the black guy, everybody approves this program, and even black dudes. So, like I said, it's hard to help guys who don't want to help themselves. It's hard to speak up for guys who don't want to speak up for themselves. Hold your guard up. Defense is just not in the ring. Life is chess and boxing. Protect yourself at all times and make your next move the best moves. The 2 best rules of chess and boxing. That's life. So if anything, the only thing I knock Jaron for not bodyguarding his brand better enough via media, instead of spending all that energy talking about Crawford. Just don't stop there. If you're going to play the game, play it all the way around, because a lot of people see Jaron in his holes as far as representation in media. And this is where they take advantage of him at. You know what I'm saying? Just like Ortiz was trying to manipulate the world and got the world to look like Jaron was the one that was ducking in A, B, and C because he came at him at the right time. And they knew that they probably wasn't going to accept the fight or had something going on. That was strategic. They need to learn how to do the same damn thing. You know what I'm saying? This is all about your image and it's all about your brand. And then being that he just rebuild his brand, in my opinion, he needs to safeguard it a little bit better than what he's doing. But all this Ortiz stuff, that's not his fault. His team was supposed to map this out. Okay, if we go into 154, this is the plan. Boom, 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 boom. So we shouldn't be tripped up off no Ortiz fight, because we should have predicted that Ortiz was going to be like this. And if we didn't, then what kind of team do you got? It's that simple. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.